everyone, it's me Laura from the Papered Soul, and welcome back to my channel. And welcome back to the Sunflower series of Make a Journal with me. I hope you'll be able to not be distracted in this video. I've got mowers in the neighborhood, and I guess Andrea from Artymaze gets to have lovely seagulls, but I get mowing. But anyway, so this is the episode that we're going to do some finishing touches to and adding embellishments and stuff, ribbons and laces and things like that. I do have a few other little tags and whatever that I'm going to try to do as well. I hope you've been watching this series from start to finish. I am on this is probably episode 10. I did a little episode before this one. Number 9 is going to be putting on a charm on one of my floating pockets. So, I just wanted to step in with that one and get that one done. And now I'm going to try to do the embellishment part. After we do this part today, I'm going to be moving on. The next one will be making the cover. And so we're about to wrap these pages up, and I've probably added about all I'm going to add. I think, I'd say to you that the journal tells you when it's done. You just get to a point where you realize, hey, I've just embellished, and the way I do it is when I flip a page, if I like the way the page looks and it feels complete to me. Sometimes I like it more simple. Sometimes, I like to make sure I have maybe more things going on. It just depends and ebbs and flows. So I just wanted to I think we're at that point. I just think we're at that point where the journal is these pages are done. I've just got to add the embellishing and a few more little small touches, and we're done with this journal. And then I'm ready to move on to the cover. This is, the Sunflower Bloom journal that I have been creating with Andrea's kit. It's her digital Sunflower Bloom. And, that's what this whole series was centered around. I'm going to put the pertinent information below in the description. Also, list for my shop, The Papered Soul, on Etsy as well. I'll put that link, and I also will put the playlist link for you so that you'll be able to just go to the playlist for, all of the videos I have thus far. Okay, so let's kind of get busy here. I don't think this one's going to be too long. My other one was shorter. The one before that was longer, but what I thought I would do is sometimes when I get to the end, I start looking at how many paper clips I have. And sometimes I don't mind a few paper clips where you paper clip a tag on, but sometimes I just don't want too many of them. I want elements to be in the journal, enough elements in the journal to actually be able to tuck things and stuff like that. So on this particular one, I thought, well, I can reduce this paper clip by maybe creating a little small tuck at the bottom, a little decorative. And what I thought I would do is make it out of one of Andrea's pretty pages. So you can see that's what it looks like, and I want to tuck this tag into a tuck on from this page. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this page, I shrunk it down. I think it was about 70% that I shrunk it down to, and I cut it. And so I'll do this with a lot of my journal pages sometime, or in my journals. I usually will take some of the pretty papers that the designer has created, and I'll make elements from it. So what I wanted to do for this particular little tag here, I thought I'd take this little flower section here and back it with coffee dye paper, and then have a little small decorative tuck there, and I think that would be pretty on that particular page. So when I'm looking at this, and you can see I've already cut it, I'm going to use this much right here for my tuck, and then I have a mark where I'm going to cut this off, and I'm going to make a little tag, a small little tag with that, and I'm going to stick it somewhere else in the journal that you'll see. And then I just liked that look. She's got the month of the year, in the years, January, February, and so forth, all the way down to December here to the side. And I just liked what that looked like, and I liked the design, and I thought this would be either pretty for just a skinny tag somewhere, or whatever. We'll just see what I do. And I may or may not. If I can find a nice place to pop that in the journal, I will. And then the last two that I had left over, I had it like this, and I thought, well, let me just make some small little journal cards. And another way I could have handled that is I actually could have folded it vertical and had tucked it somewhere, or you can make, because see, that's pretty in and of itself, you know, as a little extra journal card. So you can do that out of it too. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to start with, I think what I'm going to start with, of course, is my little flowers. And I'm going to put them kind of like that. So what I'm going to do is glue this onto a piece of paper. And let's see. Let me just do this. And before I do that, I'm going to ink it. No, I'm not going to ink it because I'll end up cutting around that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue this on it, and I'm just going to, then I'll be fussy cutting around that. So I hope everybody is doing really well and have had a good week so far. It's already Thursday. Whoop. And we are getting to the end of, to the end of August. It's just, oh my goodness. I hope everyone is safe from the hurricane. It does have my name on it, Hurricane Laura. I'm really sorry. Apparently it was an intense one, but it sounds like from what I've seen that everyone has gotten out of harm's way. I think they evacuated like they needed to. So anyway, we'll see about that. And while I might not do anything with this one yet because I may or may not put it in, but if you may see this show up again when I do my flip through, and possibly these, you may see them show up again, but I'm just going to focus on this little pocket. Oh, what I am going to do though, yeah, I'm going to focus on this pocket and this tag. That's what I'm going to do. So let's see. We're going to do, I'll need to probably, I'm going to let that kind of dry a little bit because I'm going to be cutting around that and I don't want glue to get on my scissors. So what I'm going to do is come back to this one and then we'll work on that little element. So let's see what else we have to do. Okay, so you remember this one? This little envelope. Okay, sorry, I bumped the camera. What I did is I cut out of one of her pockets, I think it was a pocket of Andrea's in the kit, and just did like fussy cut out a sunflower, and I did this little butterfly. And I thought that would be a neat way to decorate this envelope. So before I do that, let me go ahead and punch. Well, you know what I might do? Yeah, you're fine. I'm going to go on and do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decoupage this on, basically, or just really just glue it is what I was going to do. I'm just going to glue that little motif on there. And kind of like, that should do it pretty good there. Just some like last minute embellishing to put finishing touches on the pages and the elements. That's really what this one is. Like I say, I don't think this one's going to be that long of a video. But let's see. I didn't want too much of the petals sticking off. rather do like that. Okay, so then you have that little sunflower there. Let me open my shape, my blind a little better. Let's see what that looks like. See if you can see me good. Yeah. So that's pretty. And then my little butterfly, I thought, he's teeny. So I thought, well, I'll just stick him up there. Just to decorate this part up just a little bit more. There we go. Now I could draw, let me see if I have my Sharpie. I could draw his antennas on like everybody talks about doing. So let's see if my ink works. So I like to test it because I don't want to mess it up. So I'm just gonna draw, and then a little here, and then a little dot and a little dot. There you go, there's his antennas. And so that time I didn't do the antenna that I normally do with the Superline cording. Just made it simple just because he's so small. So we have that, and so the front of that will be, and on this page you can see where I tuck this like that. And what I wanted to do was put a bead of glue right along the middle and form a pocket here and form a pocket here. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So I'm just gonna put a bead right down the middle. That's going to hold this envelope on, and of course create 2 new pockets for me, or tuck spots I should say. And I do like to get it lined up about in the middle there, even, and then we'll just press that down. So that was just fussy cut again from one of Andrea's elements that I realized I wasn't going to be using. You know, I think it was from a pocket, if I'm not mistaken. So isn't that cute? That turned out really well, I think. So there's your flip. Okay, the glue off the page. That's one reason another reason I like Fabri-Tac is you can get that glue off like that. So I'm gonna let that dry. And what am I going to put in here? So one of the things that I was going to put was this tag. This part that I'm gonna cut off. After I do the fussy cutting here, I'm cutting this off. I'm going to put one of these tags in. And then the other little tag that I was thinking about making, and you may remember this element, but if you saw earlier on in some of the episodes, I accidentally ripped this tag, and I ended up punching a butterfly out of it to use it up, since I kind of ripped it where I was tying the ribbon on. And so another way of using this is to use this negative space. So I thought I would come in and make a tag using that negative space. So if I do this, I will have used this entire thing. But I ended up using it in 2 different places, and I'll show you where I put the butterfly, or I'm going to put the butterfly as we turn the pages and get more of this done. But I'm going to utilize this. So I decided to back it with, let's see here, I decided to back it, you know, just put it over top of some pretty paper like that. And I'm just kind of doing this to the edge here. And I kind of have my butterfly at a little bit of an angle, which does not matter. So what I'm going to do is just glue this on. Now this was already had coffee dye paper on the back of it. I'm just going to come along and just glue this down. So that's why sometimes it's good to don't immediately just throw. I mean, it was kind of frustrating that I had done that, but in a way it was like a happy accident because it made me think of some other ways that I could use that without throwing it out. So I'm just going to put this at the edge, line that up. Okay, and then I just had another thought that I could do. I think it would work. I could fold that over. Let's see, that just came to me. That would actually be cute too. So what I could do is make another little journal spot. I was just gonna do a tag and I was just gonna cut this around here, but I think what I'm gonna do is just make another little another little journal spot that you can open up and journal on. So I'm gonna cut this around here. You see how things just kind of come to you once you just start playing around and messing with stuff. So I'm going to keep the shape of this tag. So I'm going to cut around and I'm just going to go straight across here because that's going to be covered up with lace. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. And y'all probably watched me just mess that up. Man, I was gonna do that. Okay, well, y'all saw what I was gonna do and I should not have cut. Probably should have stopped right there and then opened it up, but that would have been a cute thing to do. Now I gotta use this. I could go ahead and just glue that to the back if I wanted something pretty on the back. I may do that. Yeah, I just cut it too far. Y'all saw what I did, but that's okay. But it's to me, it's all about the ideas that come along and you remember things that you can do with it. So now that we know that would have been something cute to do there, to have like a little flip. But this way I'll just have a stronger tag and that'll be just fine. But you saw where I was going with that. Anything you do though, this is cute. This gives us a little more thickness for the butterfly, but the other way would have been cute too, to be able to open that up and have another little, like a little journal flip there. Okay, so then what I wanted to come in and do, I will ink it. Let me get this inked. Yeah, what I should have done is just stopped about right there and then folded it on over, but that's all right. You saw where I was going with that. Like I say, there's just so many things different things you can do to try to fix something that's you feel like's messed up, and there's really no right or wrong to it. So this, it's just making it pretty and creating something useful out of it. You can still journal on the back of that, but it's just a pretty little tag to hold. So then what I thought I would do, I've got some little, I just put a little trim of, snip of kind of the crochet trim lace. I'm thinking that's from Hobby Lobby. And I just thought I would put it right here, and I thought I would probably glue that. And then I was gonna glue this little button right there to it, and I thought that would be cute. So let's try that. That's what you do. You just get in here and you try things, you get an idea, and then you just go for it and just see what happens. Sometimes it works like a dream. Sometimes you might have to tweak it a little bit. I'm gonna put some glue here for my button. So sometimes you have to tweak it a little bit, and then sometimes you might have to revamp or go for something different, like I just had to do with this little tag. So we are going to let that sit, and I may have to add a little more. I think I'm gonna have to. Let me take this button off. I'm gonna have to add a little more glue, like under here, so that it'll be able to sit tight like it's supposed to. Now I know a lot of people use their little mini attacher. Staples are fine. I mean, it gets it done. It gets stapled on there, but they're just not my. I don't know about staples for some reason. That's just me. Usually, or if I could cover the staple up with, you know, washi tape or something like that. I just don't want anything to get to where you're, you know, it could stick you or anything like that. Okay, so I just thought I'd do a fun little tag like that, and I thought I'd come in and put that right here. Okay, and then this one's probably dry by now, so let's come to that. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut this out. And I may decide to snip some of that ribbon off of that. It might be too long, I don't really know. Just something different, some little different element to put in these little pockets here, or these little tuck spots. I was gonna tell y'all, I don't know what it is, but everybody wants to, and this has been all my life, when people say my name, they always want to, it's L-A-U-R-A, but they always want to say Laura. Well, Laura is L-O-R-A. Laura. Lara is L-A-U-R-A. So it's just something I've noticed all my life, and it was so funny hearing the commentators and weather people and everything, reporters, and they're going Hurricane Laura, and I'm like, it's Lara. Okay, but anyway, they couldn't hear me. So I'll put that up now. I wasn't ready to. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I have this marked already where I kind of wanted my tag to start, and I'm gonna do it right there. And I think that will fit. Yep. I could do it upside down, we'll see. And I'm gonna cut it like a tag. I kind of hate to cut that flower off, or that leaf, but I'm gonna do it. And then I just use that piece and then just flip it over, put it at this corner, and that will give you an even little tag there. And now I will ink it. Now, I'm going to try to go a little heavier inking on these edges because, and I could take that off. I could trim that brown off or leave it. It doesn't really matter, but I think I might trim that off. Let me trim that off. Just make it a little bit skinnier. That, which means my things off. I'm going to take a little off of this side too, because now my little things off. My little things there. And I may just take a little more off here. There we go. Okay. Just make him a little bit thinner. A little taller looking, a little thinner. And then on the back, okay. And so now I have a little tag that will go, or a little tuck there, and you'll know there's a little surprise there. You can tuck it this way and have some ribbon on it, which I may do. I'll probably do that, not in this episode, but when I finalize. You know, this is basically finalizing things, but you know, there might be a few little last minute things that I have to do, but for the most part, I'm showing everything that I'm doing with you here on camera. All right, so now we have that fun little element. And while I'm dealing with this tag, I'll go ahead and do the other side, the pocket here. I've decided to put like a little ecru colored seam binding on it, a little tag on my tag. And I've also decided not to sew around all of these because I did end up using a lot of little smaller pieces. I still could have done it, but I was afraid that up to that amount of sewing I would have to do on the front would take away from the back. And I know if y'all watched my earlier episode, I was really tickled with how the back of this came out too. So I just made sure all of the pieces were glued down well enough. If you don't have a sewing machine, this is what you would do to make a Franken tag. So you don't have to sew. I had intended to, but I just felt like my stuff was a little too small. And I didn't want to mess the back of it up. So anyway, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and punch the hole. I covered that hole up on the front. I covered it up. So I'm just going to punch that out with my punch. Just like that, and then tie my ribbon. That's one of my favorite tags though. This would be pretty with a word on it. It would be pretty, just anything. You can do all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's just no, you know, sky's the limit with decorating tags, as most of you all know. I just thought it was pretty to see all the patchwork look to it and everything. So that's getting stuck on my, I do not want to tear another tag, that is for sure. And I didn't get that in there evenly and it's fraying. Let me do a better job. It's so funny because I never have a hard time putting ribbons on, but every time I'm on the camera I do, so I don't know what that's all about. But anyway, I used my Pinkin shears for this, but even still, what I usually will go in and do on a journal after I put all my ribbons in, I'll take some I'll take some Fray Check. And I will kind of put some on my finger right here and then just kind of run the edges through it, and that'll kind of stop any kind of fraying. And I will definitely usually do that before I send my journals out once they've been sold. So let's try this again. Okay, there we go. It's a little bit better there. Okay, so I'm not going to do the fray check now. It's something that I will do later. And so there you have that. And now that we've done those two things, I'm going to flip back and we're going to put this create this little tuck. So I'm going to fussy cut around here. And I'm going to move my book over here so that it's not getting in the light and you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to see where I want to start cutting. I'm going to cut around here. And I'm just kind of coming around these little petals of these flowers and just following that little flower line is basically what I'm doing. And around the leaves. Now, come in here. And I'm probably going to, how do I want to finish that off? I may just finish that off right around the edge of that petal. Like that. There we go. So now we're going to ink it. And let's see. Now we know that it's all backed with that coffee dye paper, and it's now a sturdy little tuck. And you know, sticking that tag down behind these little petals and flowers in this little area should not cause it to rip or anything like that. And so I think that'll be cute. So I'm trying to keep my, I'm just gonna, all right, so I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take, since that book's getting so thick, I'm just gonna take the page out, and I'm gonna take this paper clip off, because I just kind of want to get rid of that paper clip and just have a little small area for my tag to sit in. That's really all I wanted to do. So let's get this glued, and I'm just going to come on the back. I'm just going to glue here and maybe there, and yeah, so just a little here and a little on the bottom. And I know, I mean, if you watch this whole thing, it's there's been a lot of little elements we've created, you know, and you think, oh my gosh, is there still more elements? Yeah, there's still more elements, because I could tell you the journal is still telling me, hey, you need to put another element there. Or wouldn't a tuck be cute here? Or, you know, just little things. And like I say, I just kind of look at it and I think, well, I kind of wanted to take one of the paper clips off for that particular one. And, oh, that's going to be cute. So it'll just stick down in there like that. And that's how it's going to sit on the page. So then the other question is, and I do think I'm going to bring the book back in, just so, because that's what I have to do to kind of see what things are going to look like. I don't want that tag to get stuck to my glue yet. All right. Okay, so that's going to be the spread there. Okay, and so there. What I thought, I was trying, I have two sets of colors over here as to what ribbon I want to use, and I actually, this might help me make the decision for this side, for that tag. You know, do I want like a pop of color with this one? It kind of picks up the color in this little planter that the little, I think those are peaches, that the little peaches, or is it oranges? I think it's peaches, but anyway, that they're into, that's kind of pretty. Or do I want that ribbon there? And I really think either one and on either page is gonna look good, you know. So really, possibly, let's see. There's more warmth on this particular tag. So, you know, maybe, I know y'all think I'm crazy. I'm just kind of thinking maybe since there's already a lot of warmth, this would be like a little pop here, and there's already warmth here with these warm colors, that I could just put that color there. So you see how I just kind of think about it, and I'm gonna punch a hole for my ribbon, and that's just kind of really how I process things. So that helped me make my decision for the one on the back. So I'm just gonna put this ribbon in. It used to be an easier way that I would pull that through, but it isn't working. I'm sorry. Probably out of frame there. Okay, and I'll put some fray check on that at some point, but I'm not going to bore you with fray check. Okay, so then that will sit there in that cute little tuck there. And if I feel like it's gonna, once I can put it in better, once this is totally dry, if I feel like it's gonna kind of slide, what I'll do is come in and maybe add a little pop of glue there just to cinch it in a little bit better. But I really thought that was pretty. So that's one thing done there. And then we got that. I will probably, like I say, I'll probably sew and maybe put some sort of ribbon on that one later. So let's see what we have next to do. I could probably just flip the pages and see what I need to do, but I kind of had like a as far as this goes, I'm going to do this off camera, but I am going to crochet an edge to this, and it may be green or it might be yellow. Maybe I may crochet a yellow edge on it. I've already done a video, and I will try to put that link at some point. I'll probably try to put that link in there. I may do it on my very last one, I'm not sure, but I'll try to put a link in there for that video so you can find it and see how I kind of show you how to go about crocheting directly on that page for a flip. But I'm not going, since I've already done a video, I'm not going to do that this time. I think I had thought about putting this little lace on there, or I might have thought about leaving that one plain. Let me see. Oh, and I will tell you, I went and backed this a little bit. I backed it just to make it a little thicker, and I'm going to slide it this is just paper clipped on, so this element I'll just have it sticking out just a little bit because I didn't want the leaves to get bent when you're folding the pages and everything, or turning the pages. So we have this next, and like I say, I might go back and do some lace on that. Okay, so now this was my little flip that we did with my little goldfinch and sunflower. I've got a little quote in there, and this is the butterfly out of that negative space butterfly that I had punched, and I'm using it so that you can tuck this envelope. And I think what I'm going to do, I was just deciding which side to do, and I think I'm going to do it this way. And let's see, about like that. So I'll just glue this little wing right here, down here, and then you can, you know, pull that out from under and everything like that, but that just helps hold that flap down. The reason I'm doing the direction of the butterfly this way is because my bird is looking that way. I don't know why I mentioned that to you, and it may not even mean anything to you, but it's just kind of how I process stuff and how I get to where I'm figuring which way I'm going to put something down. So that's really all it is. So just that little wing, and then this can, turn it that way a little bit. So then this can pull out, and then you can tuck something in there. And then when you're ready, you can tuck that back under like that. And that just kind of holds that down. Now, that seemed a little intensive to do that. So I'm gonna get the glue off. And I feel like, you know, I back all of my elements, so I realized, okay, that's like hitting that pretty, I don't want someone to have to worry about ripping that flap. So what I thought I would do just now before the glue dried, what I may do is put him a little bit further down. And that way, then you can just, you know, come in and tuck that. And that's not as hard to do. Yeah, so that's what I think I'm gonna do, is just kind of put him a little bit further down so that the tucking isn't a problem. So let's redo that. So that's another good thing about Fabri-Tac is you can kind of make decisions, like if you don't wait too long and the glue's not dry yet, you can rub it off and reposition. So all I really need is just a small bit. Really, I could even probably put some glue on the other part of the bottom part here, because I only need a small smidge of this wing to be sitting on that flap to kind of keep it closed. It doesn't have to be a lot. So I will do that. So you see how things can change just even in the smallest bit of time. Here. And then you'll be able to pull that out. So there's that. I had envisioned him higher, but this works too. And I didn't want it to be hard to flip this out, okay? Or to flip it back in. There we go. Okay. All right, so then the next thing I wanted to do, I believe I'm gonna have, yeah, I have some lace on this one, and maybe that's what I was thinking. I just went on ahead and cut out a little piece of lace. It's got three of the little flowers on it. And how did I want to do that? Did I want to do it like this? So that's the way you would hold the card. Do I want it like that? Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably like that. So that works. So let's do that. Try to find the right side to that. Okay, so I'm just gonna glue a little, and I cut it in, I'd like the threes or the odd numbers when I'm trying to, when lace or any kind of embellishment is set up like that where you can actually see how many sections it is, I try to just do an odd number. And so I just kind of pull my lace even so it's nice and neat, and then just kind of dab that down like that. So that's the way you would use that card, and flip over and that little journal card. So there we have that. I'll put that there while that's drying. And let's see what else we have. We're gonna get to the middle of our signature. And I decided I needed one of my other quotes, and I went on ahead and backed it, glued the quote onto the yellow, and then I added the coffee dye paper on the back, let it dry, and then I sewed it. And I decided, you know, in previous episodes that we were going to leave that open so that someone could journal on it. They could open it and journal on it. If they decided that they wanted to close it down and use it like a regular envelope, they could. Does not matter. But what I thought I would do is just glue this on, kind of like I did one of my other elements, but it helps me incorporate another quote, and it gives this as a little tuck. Okay, so I'm just gonna, to glue this, I'm just gonna glue like I do a pocket. And just kind of center this on here. And it's a sweet little quote. It says, "If I were a flower, I would be a sunflower. To always follow the sun, turn my back to darkness, stand proud, tall and straight, even with my head full of seeds." Pam Stewart. I just thought that was a sweet, cute little poem about sunflowers. And then, like I say, this little, you can just tuck the flap of the envelope in like that, okay? And that can be on there whether you know, decide to glue the envelope together or not. So I thought I'd incorporate another quote like that, and that's going to be the center of my signature. Let's see, there is my little overlay there. I'm going to glue lace onto my sunflower pocket. And I've already chosen a piece, and I thought this was pretty. And I'm gonna make sure I like that I've got the front of it, so I can take this little overlay off and put my book over here. And I'm probably gonna take this out because I don't want to get any glue on it, and just in case, I've already cut it to the size. I'm just going to put a little stream carefully, a thin little stream of glue. And I'm probably going to pat it down just a little bit to make sure it's evenly dispersed. And all right. All right, so there you have that. Make sure it's not sticking. And I think that's good. There's no stickiness under there, so I'm gonna go in and put that in there, back in there. This was a fun little element that we made. So I'm gonna bring my book back in and put my little overlay back on. And there's my lace. So now, our next thing that we're gonna do, what I did on this particular page, I ended up, I added a tag from the last time you saw it, so there's that. I ended up filling all that up, which was nice and fun to do. And What I did is I have like a little piece of paper here, a flip for a journal spot, and I put like made a pocket out of that little strip that came off my guest checks. I ended up making another one of these because the other one, it says Sunflower Queen, and I added 1927 to this one. I barely glued it down because I want to put some eyelash trim up underneath it, so we're going to do that right now. But I decided to stamp it in black because I had done it in brown and it wasn't really popping or showing up much. But she is our Sunflower Queen, and I have crowned her Sunflower Queen of 1927. And then that will, sit in there. You could also tuck just the back part and have that hanging out like that. But you get the layering look. You get, another journal spot. Cute little small journal spot. So that's what I was going to decorate now. And I have some shiny aqua eyelash trim, and it's kind of sparkly, and I just thought that would kind of be pretty because there's some blue here. So I'm just I just cut off a small snippet, and I'm going to just try to hide it up under. I put a dot of glue just to hold this on, and so that it's already centered and ready to go. And I did that so I could tuck some more eyelash trim under it, and then I will glue it down some more. So here's some more of my eyelash trim. I do sell this in my shop. It's really pretty. It's like I say, it's shimmery. It's almost got like a icicle-y shimmery look to it. But so I thought that would be pretty, and a little eyelash trim goes a long way. So you never really need all that much. So I'm just going to put a little bit up under here. Just I like to kind of get it positioned, and then I'll run that up under. And I do want the fibers to kind of be sticking out, of course. I want them to be showing. And it doesn't have to be bulky, so what I could do is like right there at the corner, I could just let a little bit be here. Like this may be too, because I was gonna have it sticking back down in there, so you don't want that to be difficult to get in there. If it's on there, it shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm going to just put this little bit on because I do think I like that, and what I may do is bring it around the corner a little bit more. So you just play with it. That's what I do. I do like to hide the cord part and just kind of keep the little fringes out. So that's a nice touch there. So let's see if we can, the best way to get this glued down. I'll put a little in the back. To be careful with this. This way I can still open it up and get some glue down in there. I'll do this. And then pull that down. Just trying to hide the little cord, but keeping the fringes out. There we go. Okay. So then I guess what I could do, if I do another piece, I could just let that be it, I guess, but I could come in with a little bit over here, a very small bit. Like I say, a little goes a long way, a little bit goes a long way. So I could put a little here, just a smidge, maybe just that much, just a touch of it. So let me just, it may be easier to work with if I don't cut it off yet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this side started here. I'm going to put a little piece of glue or some glue up under here. in the area that I want. I'm probably, yeah, in the area that I want, right there, not a lot. And then I'm going to just kind of take this, and my fringe is sticking out now, so I'm going to just take this here and then kind of bring it up a little bit to maybe about there. Let's snip that. And then I'm going to come up here and put a little dab of glue here. And bring that cording part up to hide it. And that way you're just left with those pretty little fringes. The eyelash trim part. There we go. So I think that's cute. I'll just leave it at that. You can kind of put that in there like that, and then when you take it out, you'll see it. So let's put this up. Get our thing cleaned off. And now, I'm gonna try some of this glue. This one is getting volcano-like and gloppy, and I don't want it to get stuck to my my eyelash trim pieces. So I'm gonna come in there and just kind of do that, get that down, just go all around it and make sure the loose edges are glued down. It's amazing how much this hobby, how helpful it is to have like all kinds of different varieties of glue. I mean, it's like a smaller tip and stuff like that will, you know, kind of help you out in a pinch. That's Aleene's Tacky Glue. So yeah, so I got that now, my pretty little eyelash sparkly trim. And again, you can like put this in here like that if you want to, so that it's layered and it's sitting out. Or you could go on and tuck it all the way in there, you know, however you want to do it. So that was actually a fun little element to create. And this is going, I open that back flap and that's going to stick in that pocket like that. So that kind of leave it like that anyway, because that kind of announces her that she's the sunflower queen. All right, so now this one I just released. It should be up. I'm probably going to try to list it as episode, I guess I'll just list it as episode 9, where I created this charm onto this. This is my little floating pocket, and I made it out of 2 guest checks and decoupaged it, and then put the little sunflower charm with some Swarovski crystals and a little leaf charm on it. So anyway, that one is on episode 9. And on this one, I've decided to do a little tuck here, and I think I'm going to, I can take that paper clip off now. And I think what I'm going to do is just, instead of sewing it or leaving it as a flip or anything, I think I'm just gonna, I just cut a square out, inked it up, and I'm just gonna glue it all together, fold it over in the triangle, and that way it's gonna be nice and thick. So that way, instead of putting coffee dyed paper back there or whatever, it's just going to be a nice little thick corner tuck. And then I was just going to glue it for these 2 cute little elements to go into. So got the side I like. I'm going to just run my glue down this side and this side. Okay, so now I'm just going to put this down, and I'm gonna just take this piece out just so you can see better what I'm trying to do. Okay, so I'm just gonna put it down here. I always make sure you're just a little too, I have about 1/8 of an inch or less from the fold, you know. And I will let that dry. And I'll bring this back in. So I'm gonna let that dry before I come back in and tuck it in, okay? I'm gonna stick that there so it doesn't get lost. So that will be ready to go for that. Everything will be good. I've already glued this one in, and I did want to, what was I gonna do with this? Oh, what was I gonna do with this? Oh yeah, I was gonna put this lace up at the top. I was gonna put it up the top of the page. So that's what we'll do on this one. Let's take this one out. Take that out again. Take this tag out. Make sure I have the right side. So this is pretty much my process. I just pretty much go through and see what I feel like the page needs. And I just felt like this needed some lace at the top. Just to set it off. So I'm just gonna do a little bit along this top. Make sure I have the right side of it, and I do. And I just come in. And like I said, the Fabri-Tac is nice because it'll kind of let you play with it a little bit and make sure that you have gotten it even. And then, of course, if you need to add a little more glue to it later, you can. I try to make sure my laces are straight. That's got like a little bump in it right there, but that's from the manufacturing of the lace, but I think that's okay. Isn't that pretty? I love that lace. This particular lace I did get from Hobby Lobby, but it was not the ones that are on the little rolls. It was actually the kind that was on the bigger holders, and it was kind of pricey. So I've used this one sparingly. And then there's my tag. Now I can choose to add a ribbon there, and I may. I'm not sure, so I won't do it right now because I still want to think that one through. All right. And so when I tuck this one in, I've already decided that what I want to do is tuck it where it's a little closer to the edge of the page so that my charms will dangle off the side. And then I'm gonna put this in here. So I'm thinking that should be dry enough, and I'm not really tucking it in too hard so it still has room or space to, or time to dry. All right. I had lace that I wanted to put on this page as well, so let's do that. So I just paper clip my little items on there so I know what I want to do. If I went through and thought, lace here, lace, I would forget. So sometimes when I get down to this nitty gritty, I start, well, I shouldn't say I really paper clip. A paper clip and put little notes to myself throughout the whole process, actually. So that's just what I do, and it just helps me because when you're doing this, it's like you have so many ideas. Make sure that's centered. You have so many ideas going through your head, and I just don't want to forget when I feel satisfied. You know me with my decision making. Whew, I have a hard time deciding. So when I do decide on something, I want to stick with it. I want to, for the most part, I want to stick with it and be like, okay, I like that. I've made the decision. Let's move it on along. That's what I want to do. So there we go. So that will go there. Thought that was pretty. So what else we have? I need to put that ribbon on. Now you can do one of two things. I'll paper clip that there. I could put this ribbon onto my paper clip, which I may do on this one since I've kind of punched holes in a lot of them. So if I'm going to paper clip this onto this page, I'll already have my little ribbon will be on my paper clip, as opposed to punching the hole and putting it on the tag and then paper clipping the tag. So just whatever you want to do, and I just feel like doing something different. So the paper clip would go like that, so I'm going to make sure my ribbon's up here. So I just put it in the same way we do all of the ribbons, where you just put it through. And then just do that. I do think I'm going to cut that down a little bit and not have my ribbon so long. So I get my little pinking shears. I'll cut it at an angle. Cut it at an angle. All right. And then I just paper clip it. Now, usually if you wanted to put a dab of glue on the ribbon to help it not want to slide off, it's fine, but you don't have to do that. So there's that. This one I ended up putting, I needed a more substantial, this was my little booklet that I made, and I needed a little more substantial paper clip. And I tried to find some more paper clip. I love these paper clips. There's so many different ones you can get, like hearts and envelopes and arrows, and this one is a little camera that's got a little heart in it. So I just needed something a little, you know, sturdier and larger, and I thought that'd be cute. So it's a little camera design, and I thought about it and I thought, well, you know, that looks like a picture you would want to take. So it just made me think the camera would be cute. Now this page, when I use this punch, I usually like to run a ribbon through it, and I thought that would be pretty. So I went on and got one started, and I actually just kind of put it like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run my ribbon, thread it through the holes. Let me take this off. Thread it through these holes. I hope it'll be long enough, because I think it is. So I'll skip a hole, and then I put this one through. Just kind of fold the ribbon over. And that's all I do. I skip every other one, and I'll trim the ends to make them neater again, since it starts to fray a little bit as I do this. And then I'll do that one. So let's see what this looks like. So it gets a little twisted. I want about the same amount And what I kind of do is I just try to, I mean, you know, you can, it doesn't really matter if it's a little twisted. I mean, it's just kind of adds some texture to the eye as the ribbon is running through it, you know. Or you could, if you want to straighten all of that up, you can. You can twist it a little bit and straighten it up. I hope that makes sense. But honestly, I usually just run it through, make sure it's relaxed. And just kind of do that with it. And then what I end up doing is putting a dab of glue at the ends, and that's all I do, and that just kind of helps to hold it. I make sure the ends are pretty even, and this one looks like it could use just a little bit more. So just gonna pull that through a little bit. So I just mess with it until it has a look that I like, which I think it does now. And all I'm gonna do is put a dab of glue right on this little paper right here. Just a small, just a dot. It doesn't need a lot, and then I'm just gonna kind of fold that back over on it. That's all I do. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. So I'll flip it and just put a little small, teeny tiny little dab. Just enough for that to stick to that. That's all I do. And that way you're not glopping up your ribbon too much. And on this, I may just, you know, trim it at an angle. And then just kind of trim this one at a little angle there. And that's what I do. Let's see what we got. It's stuck to my finger. Okay, so this sits in like that. And then there you have your little ribbon. Just add something to the journal. This particular page I had, it was a little longer, and I cut it off. And that's where I trimmed it off right there. And I trimmed it off because I just felt like it was coming right flush with the page, or maybe it was this page. But anyway, I just wanted a little bit shorter, so I went on and did that. Now, the neat thing about this is you can keep that and use that to decorate other little elements that you have. So I hold on to that. I don't want to throw that away. So here is another page. I'm going to take this here. I like when I pull my back pages out, I turn it to the side so that I don't lose where I am and forget where to put the page. This was my little tuck here that I had with a pretty quote, extra writing paper. So I did that and just kind of tucked that in there for a pop of color. I'm going to do this little, take that paper clip out, and I'm just cut another little square out of some extra, a printout of Andrea's kit, okay? And I'm going to do what I did with the other one. Instead of doing a flip or anything, I'm just going to glue it down together, fold it over so that it's thick. Not, you know, just thicker so that it is a stronger little tuck spot, not anything weak and flimsy. That's the only reason I'm doing that. And I have already inked that ahead of time. Put that there. I hope y'all have enjoyed this series, and I really thank everybody for, you know, commenting and watching, and everyone has been so sweet and supportive, and I really appreciate it. We've shared information. If you go and read, excuse me, if you go and read the comments that people have made, you know, we've talked about printers, you know, and you can really learn a lot by reading other people's comments also. So I don't know if you all take the time to do that. I know I do that a lot, to see what people have to say. People, you know, will, like I say, just give some suggestions. Oh, I like your little pocket, but when I do it, I do this or I do that. And I was trying to decide which side to use. That's pretty too. I think I had it set like this because it had the pop of that color there. It's got corn on it, but that's kind of pretty with the green. So what do I do, y'all? What do I do? What side do y'all like the best? See, I had it decided what I like. I actually think I like this now, so we're just gonna go with it. So I like the other side. I like them both. They're pretty. It's beautiful, beautiful kit. Beautiful pieces of paper, printables, all through it. You can't go wrong. And then I'm just gonna put line this little tuck up. Make sure I come in a little bit because I don't want to cover up my little edge punching that I did. And make sure that's lined up there. Okay. And then that will just tuck up in there. And I will have to wait until that is dry because I don't want to get glue on that. So that takes care of that. This one got turned. I'll have to fix that. That is not straight. I don't know how that got turned. Probably when I flip the page. I'll have to fix that. And I have a feeling that might be persnickety, so we'll fix that off camera. Goes like that. This goes like that, and that'll be there. Alrighty, and moving right along. Let that dry. What else we have? Oh, I was trying to decide. I think I'm gonna put this ribbon on here. So that paper clip will stay on there. Let's punch this. And what I did on this one, I just made a little booklet tag out of it. That's what I did. And so let's punch that, put that ribbon on there. You could punch the hole through both pieces and tie it, and then it could be like a little secret journaling spot if you want. But I just went on and just did it through that first layer. Don't want to rip this. Now I'm like ribbon shy because I ripped my tag in the earlier episode. So that's one thing I don't want to do. So I just thought that would be cute with that little pop of color on that tag. It picks up some of the colors in her papers. I have another lace that I was going to do, so that gets rid of that little paper clip. I keep yeah, there we go, struggling with this book. So where did I take that out of now? See, I've already gotten confused. This was like that. Okay, it was like that. Man, it's easy to get confused when you start pulling it. And that's probably why a lot of people like to put their book together and then decorate it. But I can't do it that way because I just can't decorate it very well. I like to be able to pull pages out, and it helps me have access to things. So it's just some little nubs on this lace. I don't know, from the manufacturing. It's just the way it was made, but it's okay. So what I'm gonna do is put lace at the top of this page. And this is a really relaxing part to the journal making, and it's the fun. I think a lot of people really look forward to the embellishing part where you can, you know, start making those pages extra pretty and lacing them up and putting ribbons on. So it definitely is a fun time. There we go. So now I got my lace on, and that's pretty. The other element that I was going to put on this page, and I think this is the last element. Actually, it's not. I got one more little thing. But anyway, what I was going to do for this page was add another quote. And I have a few little things I'm gonna do to make that happen. There. So I'm gonna ink this. Here's my quote. It says, "Keep your face to the sunshine and you cannot see the shadow. It's what sunflowers do." So I thought you could put a picture here if this was your journal. You could put a picture here, or, you know, add anything you want to add to it. You could do it. But what I wanted to do is just put something down here, and also wanted to create another little journal spot. So I cut some of this pretty paper, and I'm going to put the quote on that. But before I do, let's ink it up. I'm going to ink this, and this was just like I say, just like a little piece of scrap paper that I've been working from, a little pile of offcuts from the very beginning. I work with them throughout the entire journal as I go along. It's just papers to pull from, and you start getting a theme of color that way that's, you know, working itself all through your journal, and I really enjoy doing that. So let's do the other side. I hope my camera, I need to pick my elbows or my arms off of the table, because I don't know, I'm resting my arms on the table, and I don't know if it's rocking the camera. If it is, I apologize. Ooh, and I gotta do my crease, right? Yeah, you gotta do your crease. That makes it look vintage. Okay, and so then I'm going to glue this here. So let's do that. Now on this particular one, I'm not going to be able to sew. You'll see it sewn. I will sew around it. But since we're getting down to the very end, and this is my last embellishment video, you know, I'll just do a few little last minute touches off camera, and one of which is I'm going to sew around this. So my sewing machine's right there, and maybe one day I'll get bold enough to sew on camera. But you know, I didn't know if that was really necessary in this particular series or anything like that. So there is another little journal spot, and like I say, I'm going to sew around here. The other thing that I wanted to do, you remember my little stamp from way back earlier in the series, and I had stamped this sunflower image with other flowers on it and everything, and I have kind of been throughout, just kind of fussy cutting around them. I colored them up and everything, and it's just been kind of fun to cut that up as like little, you know, decorative edges. I'm not going to glue this on now because I want to put this on after I have sewn it, okay? But what I'm going to do is try to add this here, kind of right there where you can still see the quote, and that's what that's going to look like, okay? Then what I'm going to do, I have another little tab from Andrea's kit, and I'm just going to use this side of it because I can always use this side of this tab in another way. So I'm going to cut right here, straight across in the middle of that, okay? And this can be used for another time, but this is the one I'm going to use, and I'm going to ink it a little bit since I just cut it, and I'm going to glue it to this page, to some coffee dyed paper. Let me fix this because that's probably distracting you guys. It's the sun creeps in on me, and I hope you can still see good, but that's the sun creeps in on me, and it's like I get lost in doing my journal and I don't see all that light coming in, so I hope that wasn't distracting. But yes, it's a pretty day here. I guess we're gonna start probably getting some rain either tomorrow or Saturday, probably, from Hurricane Laura. Okay. So I just want to make this little, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it, but I just wanted to make, you know how I like to make that a little sturdy. I could fold it again. I think I will. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little more glue. I'm looking in the light to see where. I'm going to put a little more glue on this, and I'm going to fold it over because I don't mind it if it's even a little bit thicker than just two pieces of paper. So I'm going to do that. While this is drying, I'm going to move to the next thing, and I'll come back to this page, okay? So what I'm going to do on the other side is I had this little coin envelope from Andrea's kit, and I've already glued it and inked it, okay? And I was gonna have this, paper clip to the page, okay? And, but before I do that, I thought I would put some lace on the page. So I was gonna have that like this, and, no, I don't want to do that. Do I want that like that now? No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. I'll just keep the fold in here. So I'll just keep the fold like that. And, but I do want to paper clip it. Or I could just paper clip that. And that way you're not seeing that paper clip there. There we go. We got it figured out. So I'm just going to paper clip it onto this flip out. And so what I want to do before I do that is I want to put some lace along this edge. I cut it a little bit extra long, just so. So I'm going to move this over here. And I'm going to get the right side of this, if there is a right or a wrong side. I just look at my lace basically and just see if there is a difference. If it just looks prettier on one side, I think this looks prettier there. So I'm going to just do that. Right there, okay? So what I'm gonna start with is I'm gonna put a little glue up under, right here on this. Just a little bit, just enough to adhere it down or get it started to where it's being held in place. And I see I'm gonna have to trim a little bit of the fuzzies off of that where it's kind of fraying a little bit. So we can certainly do that. And then once that's on like that, then I can kind of go, this is getting gloppy, just a little dab kind of on each little of these oval sections. And can even kind of smooth it off a little bit. Very light. So see, this can really be a very relaxing part of your journaling process, is the decorating and embellishing. And you can just take your time with it. You just go through. What I did, and this is normally what I do, is I go through and I just start thinking, what kind of embellishment do I want in this? I paper clip it. I stick it there. I don't want to forget if I'm not ready to do it then. And of course I wanted to do this with you on camera, so I just kind of waited for that to happen. And these little scissors here are some heavy duty titanium scissors, and I thought they might actually work good with the excess of, we'll see how good they work. Thought they'd get a clean edge there. Pretty clean, and then this side. And then what I'll do is that still needs trimming. It's not really coming off like I wanted that to. So I'll just keep kind of coming in at it. And then what I'll end up doing, like I say, is maybe putting a little bit of fray check on it just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. So we've done that. And I wonder, I'm going to come in and just kind of paper clip this to this. I'll paper clip it over to the side so that I don't mess up my ribbon while it's drying. Okay. Here we go. Now, let's see about this, see if this is getting drier. We're almost done, y'all. Hang in. This is the last one that I'm going to do. The last embellishment that I'm doing on camera, and then, or showing you what I'm going to do with it. And then we'll be ready for the next episode to be the cover. I'll create the cover. Sometimes I decorate the cover before I sew it in, but sometimes I don't. I just decorate parts of it that have to be decorated before I sew it in, like the inside cover or the inside flaps I'll work on, and then I'll decorate the cover after the journal is all put together. So let me ink it. So I need to decide today probably, or tomorrow. I need to decide which route I'm going to go with the cover, like what type of cover I'm going to make. Am I going to do fabric? Am I going to, just how I want to do it. I've kind of had in my mind that I wanted to do an envelope, clasp envelope all along, but I may change my mind. So we'll see what I do. But anyway, so what I was going to do now, you know that this is going to be here. After I do my sewing, that's going to be on there, and I'm just going to glue that on just to make it pretty. And then what I wanted to do is just kind of glue this down. I'll just put that to the side so that this will, this little poem or quote card, quote journal space will just sit there, and you can pull it out and journal on it. Okay, so I'm probably going to just center that and get that glued on. So let's do that. I'm just going to put a very small bit of glue just along there. And I am going to put it there. That's a cute little thing to do with a tab. Take my little, I don't use my bone folder as much as I should. I really don't need to do that more. I got me a good one. Got that on Amazon, I believe. It's just like a Teflon one. And so that will need to dry, and that will stick down in there like that. And then you will have it like this, and then these little flowers are going to be over here, because you know, usually I'm sure we have some flowers, you're going to have some other little flowers around, and I was trying to pick out the flowers, you know, that color, kind of continue that theme from Andrea's kit, because it has some kind of red, pinkish, orangey flowers there next to that, so I just thought that would be pretty. And that's what I'm going to do, y'all. So I will finish that, and you've seen my embellishing process, and I believe that is probably about all I'm going to do. If I add anything else, you'll see it when I do my final flip through of this journal, okay? So that's where we are, and now you can look down and see some ribbons shining through, some color, and then you'll see my little, if I can kind of let me put that to the edge there, and then pop that in, and then you got my little charms hanging, and that's fun to come to when you come to that page. So yeah, my journal basically is done. Just got to work on the cover next. So I hope you will stay tuned to see this process all the way through. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.